All right, I'm going to inspire us. I just have a Mark Twain quote, so sorry if it's been read before, but I haven't been here for that long. So 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. Inspiration for the day.
Patrick, would you lead us in the pledge?
No, not the Irish. I know what my friend is. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There you are.
All right, can everyone hear me? So I want to know who in here has heard of the Rotary action groups? Wow, okay. So good. I'm glad this is the topic because no one knows it. So I was looking on Rotary International, Rotary.org. For those of you who have not been on it yet, I do highly suggest you go. There's a lot of great information. But there are these groups called the Rotary Action Groups. They're very similar to Rotary clubs in that they have dues, etc., except they are around specific aspects or specific challenges. So they're alliances of several people from different Rotary groups all around the world. So for instance, there is a Rotary Action Group on addiction, which I just learned. So that may be something that one wants to, do, since this is your...
Something that John wants to delegate.
Right. We'll delegate that to Ken.
He's got his hands full.
Because he has his mouth full. But there are other groups like ones on diabetes, ones on AIDS, ones on human trafficking. And they are open to anyone that is a Rotarian and anyone that used to be a Rotarian. And what it does is it brings people together all across the world from different clubs so then they can take that influence and then really go out and spread the word about their particular, what's that word? Yeah, sure, interest, thank you, focus. Yes, I haven't had my coffee this morning. So their interest throughout the world. But it's something that's really beautiful, and I was looking at the one about human trafficking because that's something that's very dear to my heart. So I was like, oh, this is something that I might be interested in. And for the year, it's $68. And then they give you a lot of information and resources that then you can give to your club and those around you. So it's something that's, if there's a particular interest, I would suggest going on Rotary.org so you can see if it's something that you want to join with people all around the world. So there you go. 60 seconds or less.
Thank you. I want to thank John Wexler for setting up this morning. Thanks. And I guess David is doing takedown. Andrew Seeley, thanks for being both a great listener and inspiring. Patrick, thanks for your help. Do we have any visiting for parents? Who's that coming? There it is. And then, yes, I see some faces that I don't recognize now. I have to tell you, John, is this working now? Can you just... Test.
It's cutting out. Sorry.
Where would he be without John?
You'd be a lot better off. How's that? I've got two pairs of glasses. One is good for distance, one is good for reading. I'm wearing the readers, so you're kind of like an impressionistic view of the club right now. So We have guests. I know. I'll ask any other guests.
Let them alone, John.
All right, let's try this again. How's that? Is that good? You can hear me? All right. So, Nora and Eric Ernest are here. Talk to us a little bit in a second. So, okay. Alan, you have a guess?
Yes, I have a guess. This is Corinne, and she came to. Can you hear me now? My bad. I got the microphone. I got part one right. Corinne is a guest. She's come to see our club, see how we're doing things. She's really big into helping people, and she's also in a program where she does how to thrive in chaos. And so,
Right place at the right time.
so when she told me that, I said, "Oh, you've got to come here. You've got to come here." And Corinne is also one of my parents, and so I'm just so thankful for her and glad that she decided to come and join us today.
Do we have any other guests?
Good morning. This is my friend Amy Bowen, and she is a mortgage loan officer, works for Caliber Home Loans. And I've known Amy for probably about 10 years, and before that she owned her own business, and it was 5280 mortgage loans. So this is Amy Bowen.
Welcome. Don't show any birthdays for the week. Phil, what is today?
My anniversary.
Right, so you're dialed in? All right. 47. The woman is a saint. Without a doubt. Mr. Wexler, what do you got coming up in a couple days?
My anniversary, 38th anniversary.
All right, there you go. Good. And then David and Pam Livingston on the 10th, their anniversary as well. Rotary anniversaries this month. On December 14th, Randy will be 7 years in the club. Pretty exciting stuff. Brad Hablitzel on the 3rd was 4 years. Byron on the 8th, 2 years. And Mark Paller on the 8th, 2 years. And Mark's a retread. He had been in the club earlier. So how many years total, Mark?
Since the beginning of the club.
Okay. So, very good. So congratulations, all you guys.
Morning, Catherine.
Yeah, we were going to have to conference call you in here in a second had you not made it. So thanks for coming. Mr. Hope, let's give our final update to the Christmas tree project.
I have the final sign-up sheets on each table. Knowing this group, I should have marked one orange and one pink or something so we would know the difference. But there, one is for Saturday morning, where we're going to put together the packages with our ornaments. We're going to meet in the library. 8 o'clock. Dave Walcher has donated his trailer. Big Toolbox has donated a box truck. Tim Eunice has prepared a banner sign. We now have, thanks to the efforts of Mark Gale, we now have retrieved and put in the container 86 real trees. And Roxy's not here, but I think our count is up to 100. We might be turning people away for the event on Sunday. So look at the list. If your name is not there, you want to be there, put it down. If your name is there and you can't be there, exit out, or it's on the wrong day, do that. So I think we'll have plenty of people. 8 o'clock at the library parking lot. We'll put the packages together. And then Sunday, we'll be across the street at the Sheriff's Department. We'll be distributing to our families in need. So the weather forecast is supposed to be in the 50s. No snow, so that'll be a great event. Any questions, give me a call. We're going to have a short meeting afterwards, our last meeting, but I think everything is in place for this coming weekend. So it should be a good event, and I think most of the club is going to be involved. So I really appreciate that.
What time Sunday? Okay.
Sunday, 9 o'clock to noon, we'll distribute.
Perfect.
So,
Right.
yeah. Yes, Saturdays at the library, and then Sundays across the street at the Sheriff's Department.
All right, great, thank you. That should be a great event. Diane Zing, let's talk Santa Claus. Where's your hat?
I know, I forgot my hat, but okay, next Wednesday is Santa Claus. There's an email going out to all the volunteers who signed up to be a Rotarian volunteer. I've passed these out several times. These are the sign-up sheets. If you don't think you're on the sign-up sheets, please let me know if you are volunteering or if you have other people who you'd like to bring with you. Must be adults. Here's the last-minute thing that came up. There is a group of 9 kids who are pretty destitute and originally weren't included in the Santa Claus project. And my hope is that I can petition to all of our Rotarians for a head count of who would personally like to sponsor these kids. It's $100 a kid, and I'm going to do all $900 unless I can get some partners to help me. So reach out to me personally, let me know, email, call, if you want to be one of those 9 supporters. These kids, you think your cross that you bear is heavy until you read theirs. It's terrible. Okay, so I'm not going to remember right off the head count here, but here's a pen. my fellow Barbara. Yes, on the back of this page.
Mr. Walter?
Okay.
Walter.
Thank you. And we'll need her contact info. Thank you, Corinne. It's amazing. Thank you. Oh, this is making me cry. Thank you.
Let's see if we can make Diane cry. Keep going.
Yeah. Make her makeup run, you guys.
So I know we have to hustle, but this is a big deal. These kids have never done anything. And most of them are coming out of abuse and were saved from abuse. So thank you.
9.
Yay! Thank you.
You gotta make sense of my scribble.
I will. Thank you guys, and look for your email giving you final details.
Diane, can you review date and time real quick?
Yes, sir. So it is 7 a.m. Wednesday the 13th. I'm overwhelmed a little bit, sorry. Wednesday the 13th, 7 a.m. We are splitting Rotarians up. Some will go to the Coles at Arapahoe Crossing, and some will go to our normal off of C470 in Quebec. If you have a preference, please let me know. And again, I'll send out an email that says, I need X amount for this place and X amount for this place, and then try to make it accommodating for you. Yes, ma'am. 7 to about 8:30 or so? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, you guys. And thank you for my co-chair who's helping me. She got sucked in. She made eye contact. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, Diane. Is Catherine Henchen up getting breakfast? She is? All right. See, it's her time, and she's not here.
Where should we make the checks out to for the Santa Claus?
Centennial Rotary Foundation.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Any other questions about Diane's stuff?
Oh.
Okay. Ann West, could you fill us in a little bit on Manzanillo, and then I'll go over some stuff here in a little bit as well.
Thank you. Isn't it appropriate that today, when I looked at my thermometer and it said 15 above, that we are talking about going to Mexico on the beach to help orphans? I listened last week, and I heard Andres and John talking, and I thought, well, let's see what I can do. It turns out that, and I knew this in advance, that Manzanillo is a tough place to get to. Most of the cheap flights are very long itineraries. So getting something that's one stop and getting you there the same day is more expensive. But I found it through Expedia on American Airlines. Now that doesn't mean that we have tickets. We need everybody to let us know who's going with whom. But what we have is a 3-star hotel because we're trying to keep the cost down. And this is the Hotel Marbella, which is on the beach. Pictures look good. And we will be getting up awfully early in the morning because the flight is at 5:30 in the morning. But nevertheless, we'll get there that day. We won't have to be... I saw itineraries that started at 15 hours. This is going to be closer to 6 or to 8 hours. And the cost, which is what I was striving for, because I'm not rolling in dough, for 2 people is $1986.27. Now, of course, that varies. Who gasped over here? That varies, and it's not fixed because flights are not fixed. So that's the best. And what we can do to proceed is we need to know who's going with whom, and we can see if they have enough rooms.
So keep in mind that was for 2 people. So cut that in half.
It's just under $1,000 a piece for room, taxes, fees, and flight.
Catherine.
Can I add something, Joe?
Yes.
Very quickly, I still have to hear back from Kevin. He was supposed to email me yesterday because they can get condos for us as well.
Okay.
The foundation. So as soon as I have those details, I'll let you know. There is another option. We can fly into Guadalajara, which is the 2nd largest city in Mexico. It's only a 3.5-hour drive. So we could fly into Guadalajara and then drive down to Manzanillo. And I know there are a lot of nonstop flights to Guadalajara, at least from Dallas and Houston. So that's another option.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I really can't read any of his writing. So for the 9 of you, will you please make sure I have your name written out for me? Thank you. My cohort is going to try to help me. Thank you.
You know, a scribe should be able to write clearly, I'm just saying. All right, Catherine, give us a little state of the city update.
Oh.
You did get my email, right?
No, I did not get your
Oh.
But I'm going to run with it. So... Well, actually, I'm going to give it to everybody who donates. The gifts are always awesome. You guys, we can't raise money if you guys don't give good gifts and then step up to the plate. We had some expensive things this year. And I just want to thank you all for stepping up on some of those. I think we all just need to give ourselves a hand because at the end of the day, it's our own generosity that makes the auction successful. And at the end of the, and when it comes to Mexico and all these projects, that's how we get it done. So I'm going to say a kudos to all of you guys on that. Thank you. State of the City. So State of the City is rocking. I have an awesome team that are jumping in, and I'm excited we've had our first meeting. We'll have our next meeting. To the team that's on it, thank you for your time. We'll have our planning for how we're going to attack sponsors. If there are other businesses, I know we have a lot of new members. And if there are businesses that you think that we should target for sponsors, I think we figured out that we sold the most tables that we've ever sold last year. And I think we figured out that we could probably add 3 to 4-ish more tables. So I would just put it out to you guys. If there's some businesses, especially to the new members, if there's people that you think would jump in, it's $650 on up to probably a couple grand for the sponsor tables. So it's a great event. I'm going with it assuming that our new mayor wants to do this. So Allison, our cohort from the city hasn't told me differently, and Randy Pye promised that he would make sure it got done, so we're excited to keep it going, and I think that's my update.
Okay, cool. Thank you. We have got a very special guest this morning who's going to talk to us a little bit about a service project idea he has. So I'd like to welcome, and make sure you grab a microphone, Eric Ernest.
All right, I'm going to briefly introduce Eric. You guys know Eric from some of our service projects or some of our socials, or maybe just from the Tales of Boy Scout lore that I tell sometimes. Where did we go this weekend, Eric?
We went to, no, we did not go to Mesa Verde. We went to, I completely forgot what it's called. Old Bent's Fort.
How was it?
It was very fun. It was pretty much just a sleepover, so. My dad did okay. He was sick for most of it, though.
It was fun. We had a good time. I am quite the outdoorsman. Yes. So Eric has a project that he would like to talk to you about. He's a little nervous talking in front of prestigious business leaders, so I decided.
So he shouldn't be nervous at all.
I'd bring him here first. Before that. So, Eric, are you ready? Would you like to stand behind the podium? Even I'm not sure people can see you.
You're not going to be able to see.
Stand up front.
Oh, sorry. Here, you want me to hold it for you? Okay.
Thank you for the breakfast. I love waffles. And thank you for letting me come here to talk to you. As you know, it's the holiday season, the season of giving. Speaking of giving, I came up with an idea with my parents of how I could support homeless dogs and cats over the holidays. I've designed a drive to supply 2 animal shelters, Hobo Care Boxer Dog Rescue, and the Dumb Friends League for cats as well. I want to give animals the comfort over the holidays. So why am I here? I'd like to invite you to help me achieve my goal of helping homeless cats and dogs over the holidays. I've handed out a list of supplies, or else I'm going to hand out a list of supplies that I'm collecting, and asked my dad at the Rotary meetings on December 12th and the 19th to collect them. Thank you. Hopefully all the homeless cats and dogs will receive the same amount of love my dog Hildy receives over the holidays.
Right. Awesome job.
So if you'll see the list, it doesn't have to be new things. The shelters are looking for blankets, things like that. If you have old extra ones, or toys, particularly, is what Eric is particularly interested in collecting, I think. And I'll pick them up the next 2 weeks if you guys have anything. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Eric, great job. I love seeing the spirit of service in a young man such as yourself. So let's get to travel gifts. Mr. Shattuck, I believe you said you had a travel gift.
Well, while you folks were setting up for the Christmas party, I was in Fort Garland down in south central Colorado. Picked up a book, Colorado Ghost Towns and Mining Camps. And I've looked through it. It's really quite interesting and has some very interesting history of Colorado.
Thanks, Don. Mr. Weber, I think you had a travel gift.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Cuba. It's been on my list, but that didn't happen. I didn't get to go to Cuba since the travel restrictions changed. But we're in Miami over Thanksgiving, and there's a place called Little Havana there where I guess I didn't know about this, but all these old guys hang out and play dominoes in Little Havana. So I bought a Little Havana domino set in Miami. So it's as close as I think I'm going to get to Cuba. So.
There you go. Thanks, Jay. Any other travel gifts? Patrick.
Yes.
Who will be inducted next week, by the way, finally.
Yeah, I just came back. I was gone for almost 3 weeks, and I went to Philadelphia to visit my wife's relatives. So when I went to Philadelphia, I figured, what could I bring from Philadelphia? They have a famous meats kind of sausage stuff that it's called scrapple. And anybody that ever lived in Philadelphia know what scrapple is. Actually, I don't know what it is. The very name scrapple doesn't, but it's very good. Anyway, I thought about bringing that back, but how was I going to keep it fresh with ice? So I didn't bring it back. So what else could you bring from Philadelphia on the Liberty Bell? So then I went up to Maine to my son up in Maine, and spent some time. By the way, I went to Philadelphia Airport the night before so I could get a good night's sleep because we lived on the other side. My in-laws live on the other side of the airport. And wouldn't you know, at 3:15 a.m., the fire alarms went off. And got everybody up and about, but it was a false alarm anyway. So I lost my night's sleep either way. So I brought back some maple syrup from Maine. It's famous for its maple syrup. And of course, how could I not bring back something else that's famous in Maine? I brought back a lobster. And here's a lot. So then heading down to New Jersey, to Newark Airport, where I used to live, that area, I looked around and said, oh, what can I bring from New Jersey? The great state of New Jersey, by the way. And Atlantic City is famous for saltwater taffy. And here's a box of this here. And the saltwater taffy, reading the back of it here, some guy in the 1880s who was selling candy on the boardwalk, and he said that the storm came in and the salt water flooded his premises. But so he went ahead and sold the taffy the next day, and everybody liked it because it had a salt taste to it. So there's a box of salt taffy for the kid. And by the way, my ventures didn't finish. When I got to Newark Airport, we were sitting in the plane at 7 o'clock in the evening, and the pilot announced that there was some lights flashing somewhere that shouldn't have been flashing. And the plane got delayed. They put a new computer in it. Then they decided after an hour, no, they need another computer. And being that I worked for General Motors, involved with a lot of machinery and all that, I figured we ain't going in this plane nowhere. 30 minutes later, they said, well, they had to go to the warehouse to get another part. And so then 10 minutes later, we had to all leave the plane. But they did put us up for the night, and we did get a restful time. So it was an adventurous trip anyway. Thank you.
Patrick, after my experience in Ireland with black and white pudding, I think that scrapple should not be a tough thing to eat. I think it's Happy Bucks time. My lovely wife is doing Happy Bucks today.
Yay. All right. Hope everybody's happy today. I have 5 to start us out with. One is to welcome all our guests who decided to join us today. One is to everybody who helped in organizing the Christmas holiday party. It was great fun. It was really good, especially when Cheech showed up without Chong, but thank you, Cheech, for joining us. Another one is I just want to give a shout out to John Peterson because he does all our AV stuff. I love seeing all the flags that we bring from other Rotary clubs. That's always great. The fourth one is a sad buck. I'm going through NASCAR withdrawal. I don't have a race to watch on Sundays, especially since the Broncos are doing bad. But the last one is a happy buck because it's only 75 days till Daytona 500, which is the start of the season.
I have 2, and the first one is for the holiday party the other night, at which I had a great time, and I had a good opportunity to go home and have another glass of wine and put my feet up instead of having to clean up from the party. It was awesome. Thank you. And also, I have a happy buck because it's Tuesday and I'm here.
I have 2 happy bucks. The first one is I spent the weekend interviewing outgoing exchange or potential outgoing exchange students. If you ever have a chance to do these interviews, it's really enlightening, uplifting, I don't know what you want to say. The kids are just amazing kids. And to be brave enough to go overseas for a year at 16 or 17, I mean, I know when I was that age, I did not have that kind of courage. So it was really cool. I actually officially became a member rather than a groupie of the exchange committee. And so it was exciting. And my second buck is for the Christmas party. I had a great time.
This is for our guests and also to announce tomorrow is movie night. Are we doing it at 3 or 3:30? It's tomorrow, and we're showing the Green Mile.
I have two, and one is for the party. I don't know if you guys realize how hard Catherine works at this thing. And the other is for all our guests. It's great to have people here possibly thinking about joining. I also was glad to take Kata, who, by the way, is still working.
You sound surprised at that. I have 5. The first one is for all our guests. Thank you for being with us, and hopefully you'll come back. The second one is for Eric. Congratulations on what you're doing. It's awesome. The third one is for Catherine and for Eric. You did a nice job, Ese. It's awesome. It was awesome. We had a lot of fun. Especially I had a lot of fun because I was sitting. The next one is for all of you. This club rocks. It's really awesome, and particularly for the board that we're gonna vote on here soon. But congratulations for everything you do. You're all wonderful, and it's Tuesday, so I'm happy to be here.
It's Tuesday. Let's see. I'm happy that because I was at interview weekend, I missed the Bronco game. I was not tortured. The holiday party was awesome, and it is always so fun to see all the things people have brought back as gifts that are irresistible. Also, I was at the interview weekend, and I echo what Barb said. It really gives you a lot of hope for the future and our young people. And Barb and Samantha have been assimilated into the Borg of RMRYE. So it's really great to have them on the committee. Also, just to let you know, we will have an exchange student next year. We've committed to host, and I have 2 committed families and possibly a third. Did Jay Weber just walk out? There he is. No, Jay's daughter Caitlin would love to have a student. However, we've got to get their daughter Madison in grad school somewhere, so that we have a bedroom for her. So I'm really excited about that. And also the student that we sponsored, that we recommended, is Quinn Fellows, whom I'm going to try to get to a meeting so we can meet Quinn and his dad and mom, who are amazing people. His mom was a Rotary Exchange student, and his parents were both in the Peace Corps. So anyway, he was selected to go to Austria. And also, thank you, Eric. I'm really excited about shopping for dogs. And welcome to our guests.
Behave yourself. I have a happy buck for Ivano Sunis. It was so great to see her at the party.
Yeah. I have $20. Woo! Hey, we had our yard sale this weekend, and I'm sorry that I didn't do the holiday party. But at the yard sale, we sold virtually everything. But if you or somebody you know needs a Howard Lorton leather-top computer desk, a big boy, we have one that we would love to pass on to a Rotarian. Number 2, cheap Ken Hope would not bet on the CSU-CU game because he knew that they would take a knee. However, we did bet on the overall year and the number of wins. I lost. Hope wins. And lastly, in 2 days will be my 2nd anniversary, and unfortunately the end of a wonderful 2 years with you guys. So thank you for 2 years. It's been great.
I just wanted to thank everybody. That put together the holiday party. It was a great time.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody who put together the party, but also just to recognize how nice it was to be able to meet everybody's spouse and significant others that we don't get to see all the time. So, and especially Ivana.
Have $1. My wife and I took a wonderful trip last week going through the sand dunes and over Slumgullion Pass to Lake City. We had lunch last Saturday in the Cannibal Grill of the Packer Saloon in Lake City, if people are familiar with Alfred Packer's story, and then Gunnison back to Denver.
Well, I have 5, and one is for everyone that put together the holiday party. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. One is for all the guests that we have, and then the rest is because I have an amazing new member that I'm mentoring, Yenny, over there. And of course, who does she bring? Someone that's a lender? What? I love you, Yenny. Okay, I need to tell her the rules of the game, right? No.
Service above self.
Exactly, right? No, and welcome to her guest. And also, because I keep forgetting, so Jessica, I have a cigar for you. So I just keep forgetting, so I just thought I'd share because I keep forgetting to bring it in.
Good morning. I have 5. First, I'd like to thank Tim for reaching out to me to be a part of the board and work on membership. So I'm looking forward to that if I get approved and you vote me in. I'd also like to thank Roxy. We first started talking at that event at Jay's at Volcano, and we were talking about my study abroad, and she said, I want to pull you into the youth exchange stuff. And so the interview weekend was really impressive, and I always say it makes you feel better about humanity and our future because there are some really great kids, and you know, a lot of these kids are like 14 or 15 years old interviewing in front of all these scary adults, and you know, everyone has different personalities, and it was just really interesting, and it was really cute to see them interact with each other and with the interviewers and everything. So I really appreciate it. And yes, I am now on the committee, and I am the country contact for the Czech Republic and eventually Slovakia, yes, and eventually Croatia. So, and the holiday party was awesome. I really appreciate it. It's weird to think that I just started in July because, I mean, there's been so much that's gone on since then. So, but I just really appreciate everyone, and this has just been really a great experience. And welcome to all the guests. I hope that you come back because this really is the best Rotary. So.
Yeah, one for this entire group. I love being part of Centennial Rotary, and for anybody who is a guest or a prospective new member, I think you would just have a fabulous time with this great group of folks. I really appreciate everybody here and the fun that we have. The other thing is for the folks who did put on the holiday party. I had an amazing time. I think a lot of you know that. So these are my last $2 to my name. I'm officially tapped out.
Well, I got a happy buck here for the people that, because I'm very happy that they found the problems on the plane with the computers before it took off, and they didn't find it 33,000 feet up in the air. Thank you.
Good morning. I have $2. One for the people that put the party together. It was unbelievable. Thank you so much. And for our guests, come back.
I have $2. One for Mike Ober. Glad to see you're back. I don't know if you are aware, but Mike had an operation a few weeks ago, and he's sprung back now. And Mike's my neighbor, and we just want to wish you the best. And secondly, Patrick, I have good news and bad news for you. The good news is you have a mentor. The bad news is it's me.
I have two. The first is a happy thank you for the holiday party, and I want to echo something that Tim said. It was a great opportunity for my wife Pam to meet so many of you and come to her first party. The second is actually, in case you see Pam, be sure to mention that I said I was happy to be married to her. Our anniversary.
There's something we should know, Dave.
I have three. First is to my friend Byron. He really ascribes to the four-way test because I've forgotten all about that bet. So, Byron, we're going to miss you. We really are going to miss you. Second is to everybody in the club who signed up for our event this weekend. I really appreciate your support. And the third is to John Santa Claus Peterson, who I went out and rented a Santa Claus outfit for him for Sunday.
I have three. One for Roxy and the stuff the exchange group does this interview weekend. It's great work you guys are doing, spreading peace around the world. I remember a year ago we were doing this with Caitlin and the stress and everything being on the other side of that. So thank you for the work you guys do. Second one is for my daughter who is in Spain, having a great time. I just got pictures from her host family over the weekend of her with a Rotary vest on doing a food drive in Madrid. So she's still doing service above self, which just makes me tear up.
Did you say your daughter is insane?
That's our Santa Claus.
The third is for the hearing aid.
I'm starting to drive. The third one, I don't know if I mentioned this. My mom came and visited this club, I think, last summer, and she officially joined Rotary in Fort Myers, Florida. So.
I have two, no special long stories or anything, just happy bucks.
Very happy.
I've got three. First, for all of our guests, particularly Eric and Nora, thanks for joining us today. Second is an apology buck for missing the holiday party.
Yeah.
I haven't learned what I bought yet, but all right, great.
Yeah, I think he bought something.
No, because Andres chickened out on no, it's that $1,400 trip to the mountains.
Oh, what a deal. Thank you. So I'm sorry I wasn't there. And last, a buck for Byron. Byron, we will absolutely miss you. But good luck in your new location.
Well, thank you for having me.
I have $2, and Mark just walked out the door because it was a congratulations buck, because when you leave the Christmas party, guess what? People spend your money. And he spent $1,000 on the cabin, I believe. Yep. So I don't know where. There he is.
There's four of them.
No, I'm teasing him. Mark L., this $1 is for you. Happy bucks for spending $1,000 because you left the party early. I know, you never responded to my text. The other one is thank you so much for all those who put the party on, and I believe it was Phil and Vicki that made the arrangements for the location. Is that correct? Phil and Jackie? But thank you.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Good.
Okay, I have 9 for my 9 angels. The party was amazing. I love having people visit. Great Rotarians. Sorry to see you leave. Glad to see you walk in. Thank you for everything you do. By the way, the silent person who does an enormous amount of work on a day-to-day basis for this club, year after year, is Barb. Thank you, Barb, for everything you do. Right? Right? And can't wait for the holidays. It's going to be great. My broker-dealer change is done, and I'm trying to hurry so you can get moving. Here you go. Oh, sorry. I'm going to pass this sheet around because I really couldn't read his writing. If you raised your hand, could you put your name down for me? Thank you. Oh, you want money? Yes, I do.
Well, I have $1. Sorry to have missed the party. My family and I have a tradition of going over to Hawaii for Thanksgiving and the week following, so wasn't able to make it. But I hear I was well represented in some of the gifts and so forth that were sold, and I haven't seen what I bought yet. But I would like to know who's responsible for that. And I'm betting that it's Catherine. It's either Andres or Catherine, one or the other. And so I am going to bring a gift next year. I'm going to bring a grass skirt. And somebody's going to wear it at the holiday party.
Yeah. And I have coconut bras to go along with the grass skirt. So
personal collection of coconuts.
Yes. So Greg, in the back seat of my car is your square marshmallows and slightly used coaster set. So see me at the end of the meeting because I do have it here. Yeah.
I'll be quick. Byron, we really are sorry to see you go. I wish you the best in your new adventure, but just know that you always have a home here. I can't underscore what it means to see Yvonne. For those of you who are new members, I joined because of the way this club rallied around my father, and I can't. It always amazes me that we're more than just members, we're more than just a club, but Yvonne truly is part of our family, and it was so good to see her smiling and walking around, so I'm grateful for that. To guests, and I have to thank Tripp for the welcoming committee that he is on the member. So Eric has decided to be a member, and in the email, Tripp said, yes, we're glad to have you be a member, and don't forget your $100 when you come to the party. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever driven out of DIA and you see the police officers waiting to catch you with a speeding ticket saying, welcome to Denver. Thanks, Tripp, for the welcoming committee over there.
Where is that chick?
I have 5. And Byron, I'm sad to see you go, but I know it's a good adventure for you. And the Saturday night party was wonderful. I also wanted to throw out, being on program committee for the 4th year, we have started our 2018 programs. If there is any company of any kind in the city of Centennial that you would like us to bring on board, you want to hear about them, email me, send me the information, because we're getting ready to line them up. Sierra Nevada is coming up in next week, and we do have Comcast coming back in February. But if there are other companies, any size, doesn't matter. We've had Brew Pub, we've had the Wine Bar, we've had big companies, we've had Arrow, so look forward to hearing from anybody.
I've got 5. First, Byron, it's been great having you as a member. You've contributed really a disproportionate share of your share to the club, and it's very much appreciated. I want to thank everybody who helped with the party. Phil, thanks for making the arrangements. And Catherine and Eric, you did a great job on the auction. Very much appreciated. Eric, my young friend, great job. Yep. And I love seeing your spirit of service coming out at such an early age. And lastly, the last 2 are for all the members of this club. I know it's not enough to reflect everything that you guys do, but this is a remarkable organization, and I knew the first day that Tom Buck drugged me into this merry band of misfits that I had found a home. So this one's for you guys. You all deserve a round of applause. Okay, moving on. We have got a ton. So we may run a little late, but we'll go through as quickly as we can. So now we're going to start the annual meeting segment. We're going to talk a little bit about the club and what's coming up and what's gone on in the last year. So I'd like to start with Barb Medina giving us her treasurer's report.
Thank you. I am not a PowerPoint person. I usually talk to people face to face, and then I use my 4 screens and I prepare their tax return. So I put just paper copies of the financials on the table. There's the standard financial statement, a balance sheet, and an income statement. Generally, when I prepare this report for the board, I also give them a copy of all the checks I wrote the prior month. And then the last page in here is the budget that we approved for the club for the 2017-2018 year. So just starting on the first page with the balance sheet, which is called Statement of Assets and Liabilities and Equity here. shows that we have enough cash on hand to, we're a pretty strong club financially. The receivables were receivables at the end of October. Accounts payable was to Embassy Suites. That was one breakfast. So breakfast, depending on how many people here, runs between $550 to close to $700, sometimes a little bit more. So that's what every week costs here. Let's see, the Prime Timer event, this is the district. When we do get matching funds from the district, we've done that for 2 years with Prime Timers now. And so we will send them our half. So we send them the $2,000, and then they send us back a check for $4,000. And Mary Alice has to account how she spends that money. And we've gotten 2 years, and I guess she said we had to spend the first year by the end of this month, which we're going to do. RI Foundation, that's the money that I collect every quarter with your dues. I usually, about the last month of the quarter, will send all those in because I'm waiting to collect the money. And I'll get that in before the end of the year so you can take a deduction this year. The next page is the budget to actual on what we've spent so far. Right now we're under budget, but there's some expensive things coming later in the year that will more or less even this out. If you look at the last page, our budget always is a zero sum, so we try to budget what we'll spend that will equal what comes in. And I guess that's really all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions? Roxy?
I just have a comment.
Barb sends me a PDF of these financial reports for our club and for the foundation. The club usually on a monthly basis, the foundation less frequently, and this is in the member section of the website. You can go find these reports if you have an interest in finding out on an ongoing basis the financial condition of the club.
And you can come visit the board meeting. Everybody is welcome at the board meeting every month, which is typically the first Wednesday of the month. So we will have a board meeting tomorrow, 7 a.m. at Cottrell Printing. Karen Berry, Secretary's report.
Hello again, everybody. So one thing I just wanted to bring up, a couple of quick things. Attendance. I collect the attendance every month, obviously. We have our check-in sheet, and I thought I would just let you know how we do as far as just coming to this weekly meeting. So in July, 69%, August, 74%, September, 72%, October, 70%, and November, 72%. Now, for your attendance, other things count towards attendance if you do makeups or if you do service project committee meetings, things like that. So generally, our overall attendance is in the upper 80s, so 86 to 90%. So that's pretty good. Service hours so far for this Rotary year. In July, we had 356, August 278, September 474, October 378, and I'm still collecting information for November, so don't have a total for that. But one thing I want to say about service hours is there's a lot of people that don't report their service hours to me, so I know these numbers are shy of what we really spend doing things. So please, when I send out the monthly email to ask you for your attendance and service hour items, please respond if you've been involved in some service projects. Sometimes the chairman of a committee might give me that information, but sometimes they don't. So it's kind of up to each individual to provide that information. For instance, the Christmas club or committee, Ken doesn't give me that information. So, if you have time that you spent working on that project, then send it to me so that I can get that information.
Yeah. Very good. So if you think about those service hours, 400 hours many months, think of the impact that that's making on the community, think of the impact it's making internationally. I mean, you guys make a difference. And sometimes it's not visible immediately. Things like the Santa Claus Project, yeah, you feel that right away. That's a warm squishy when you see that little kid and you're helping them buy shoes or whatever. But a lot of these projects, you don't necessarily see right away the impact, but it's there. So I appreciate the effort that you guys put in. Mr. Butler, talk to us about membership.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you. I will use a microphone if you don't mind. Talk about making it easy on a guy. I do want to thank people like Tim and John Peterson that seem to be really good ambassadors for our club that tell folks about us and bring them in the door. Thank you, Yenny, for bringing somebody in the door, and Alan. But not counting Amy or Corinne, not counting them, who they still have time to get their applications in this month, this calendar year. But I am counting Patrick, one of our newest guys, and I am counting Yenny and Alan was our first for 2017, but we've got a couple that are absolutely coming before the board on tomorrow. But counting them, we have 14 members this calendar year, 7 males and 7 females, which is pretty cool. But really could not do it without, Happy Bucks welcoming folks that are new here, man. That's why guests come back. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Trip. Samantha Johnson, I thought I would have one of our big service projects, give you a little bit of information on that and where we stand. So Samantha Johnson is going to give a quick update on the opioid service project.
Okay. So for those of you that do not know, we have started an opioid action committee. And for those of you that don't understand what that is, because when I tell people, they're like, what drugs are you doing? What is this all about? It's basically what we're focusing on right now with the committee is, one, drug collection, because that's something that's really important for people to have an opportunity to give the drugs that they're not utilizing in their home to a place that they will then be disposed of in a safe way. And so they're not around in the cabinets for people to come in and use at parties and overdose, et cetera, like that. Or when they're really depressed and they say, oh, look, I have some extra pills at home and I'm just going to take them. So that's one of the reasons why that we have the Opioid Action Committee. The other part is that we are doing an education component because there's just a lot about this. It is an epidemic here in our country. I don't know about any other country, but we're just focusing here in Arapahoe County. So it is an epidemic. And one of the service projects that we're doing that's coming up is coming up in January. I'm sure there'll be one in July too, so mark your calendars for then. So mark your calendar, save the date. January 27th, we are having a drug collection and education event at Heritage Eagle Bend, thanks to Phil, who is helping us get in there. And apparently they want a bigger room, so we need a lot of people to come. The drug collection is going to start at 8:30 a.m., and we're going to have 2 speakers. Let me see if I can read this. I am older than I look, so my eyes aren't quite as good. So,
you want to?
Thank you. I know. I look 29. That is right on the. Right on the. Is it the truth? Is it fair to Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Anywho, so we have two amazing speakers. We have a heartstring speaker, someone that's speaking from their personal experience. That is Terry Baker Malik. Thanks to John Barry for helping set that up. And then we have Dr. Robert Valuk. professor in the Department of Pharmacy at the Skaggs School of Medicine, University of Colorado. Thanks to Sheriff Walter for helping set that up. He's extremely knowledgeable and active in this area. So they're going to be speaking probably about 45 minutes, and the drug collection we're still figuring out if that's going through and after, et cetera. But please come. Bring your expired drugs or drugs that you're not utilizing, and just come and support this, because it's something that I know John is really passionate about in our committee. And those that were not at the committee meeting on Wednesday, I have assigned you something, except for Walter, because I didn't think I had the authority to do that. So, no, read the minutes that I sent out yesterday, and I will be in touch. What was the date? January 27th. It's Saturday, 8:30. Drug collection starts at 8:30, and the program starts at 9. Any other questions? And we will be having more events, and if you're interested in knowing more about it and being in the loop, I do have silent members of the committee, so they're just always in the loop. So let me know.
Thanks, Samantha. So Terry Baker Moloch is a friend of mine, and this is what drove me to drive you to develop the opioid project. Terry's daughter, through friends and parties, got addicted to prescription opioids. When they got to be too expensive, she transitioned to heroin. Got hooked on heroin, did a rehab stint, kicked it, was clean for 30 days, which basically adjusted her body to not having opioids in the system, fell off the wagon, OD'd, and died. And actually that year I had 2 friends lose children to heroin overdoses. So that was the driving force. When I became president, I thought, okay, this is possibly a platform that I can use to make a difference. So Terry's going to speak. She's nervous as heck about it. She's not a public speaker. She does work for Arapahoe County, by the way, but she's working really hard on putting together a presentation about her daughter and what went down. So anyway, that's the how that came together. So let's start a little bit. Let's talk about the Christmas party. It looks like everybody had a great time. With a show of hands, who liked the format, having it Heritage Eagle Bend? Mary Alice, I already know what your vote is. Yeah. Who liked that? What did everybody think of the food? I thought the food was outstanding. Did everybody like the venue? We were maybe a little tight in that one room, but I thought it worked out pretty well. Does anybody have any suggestions for next year? Cheryl?
I've already made the suggestion to Bob Peterson that we have photographs taken in front of that wonderful tree, and then we will auction them. Or what were we thinking, Bob? You could pay,
John.
I'm sorry, John.
I was going, who's Bob Peterson? Is that a new member
John.
I didn't know about?
Yeah, John. We were thinking about having, your portrait with your spouse, and then paying $5 or something like that for the foundation.
$20
Do I hear 25? 25 over here. How about 30?
I'll up the ante. Anybody who wants that portrait printed on canvas and stretched, we'll sell it. We'll sell it for $40. Okay, I'll contribute that. Okay. I'll try.
Bill?
We had 70 people, I think, registered, RSVP.
We had 69 RSVPs. We had several late cancellations, so we probably ended up with 58-ish.
Okay. Depending on how much.
Right.
Depending on how many people want to come next year, if it's going to be more than 70, we can get a bigger room,
okay,
and things like that if we need that. So that's not a problem.
Okay. Catherine?
So So Andres, you'll be happy to hear this, that Cheech actually had a lot of fun doing what he did. So I'm excited not only that he's going to be a new member, but I'm excited to sort of pass the baton and let someone take the lead on that. The one suggestion I would have is that, from the auction item, that maybe we have a little bit more of a committee and hopefully get some of those big silent auction items out to everybody in advance. Just so that people can prepare, because those are good items. The trips and things. I mean, I'm assuming everybody liked the idea of some of the trips and the ranch house and all of that. I just think it's kind of, when you're planning your budget, it was kind of a little shocked. So we're going to try to get, but I would add whoever's going to organize the Christmas party. Cheech will come back as something else. Who knows what they'll do? But to if more people can get to be a part of, just a couple more people to do the auction, I think that would make it better.
I want to quickly add to that. Probably one of the driving forces for her saying that is I didn't know about that trip, but I quickly texted my friends saying, hey, do we want to pitch in $2 or $3 grand to do this trip? And I didn't hear back in time. And then just as it was sold, I heard back, yes. And I'm like, damn. So when you get that email, be sure to ask your friends. It doesn't have to be just Rotarians voting and spending money.
If Eagle Eye is that popular, I'll get them to donate it again next year.
Cool. Very good. Roxy?
I really liked what Byron did last year. And Byron actually did an advanced program with photos of the items, with a description of the items. And if we could put that, I know that took a lot of work. Yeah, but if we start early with the gifts, and as we get the gifts, take the photographs, it doesn't end up being a huge project at the end. Well, again, it may be too much work, but it was really nice ahead of time knowing what things you wanted to bid on. And for those of you who aren't there, who know that stuff's going to be bid on in your name, you can designate that item.
But with that, if you're going to, Roxy, I'll just say that if you're going to do that, we need to take into, we have costs for the food, and you also have to understand there's a cost for printing. So if you guys are going to,
you have Santa Claus Greg.
There's Santa Greg. We have some other ways.
So you're getting hit twice, Mr. Cottrell.
But didn't Byron put them all on the computer last year? Okay.
Okay, so let me give you a little update as far as what we raised at the holiday auction. So in 2016, we raised $4,240. Now, Barb Medina was kind of working and adding up in her head this year and gave us a total at the auction of $3,880. Well, I've got good news. She added wrong in her head. In the right direction. So 2017, we did $4,220. However, some of John McCarty's travel gifts didn't make it, and they're up here. These were made in Madagascar. And then Samantha had a gift that we think is in the cabinet. We haven't looked yet. We need to make sure. And I talked to Sheriff Dave, and I've got something else to throw out at you. So let's start off with these wonderful Madagascar items. Let's break the record. So, John, what do you think? Should we auction these separately, or?
Yeah, they need to be auctioned separately. And what I'd like to say about them is they're in their original shipping container, although, as President John observed, they were not assembled in the bottles. It isn't a ship in a bottle type thing.
Right.
You just pull the bottle apart. It's cut in half, and then you can take it out of the bottle.
So tell me the story about the little frog legs. Was this
That's not a frog leg. That is a carving of a baobab tree.
Oh, okay. So it should be this way. Okay. I thought it was frog legs upside down.
Trip, go ahead and carry those around so people can see what they're like up close. Now, the baobab trees, you drive out of Morondava, which is on the west coast of Madagascar, and you drive out of town about 20 kilometers to the Avenue of Baobabs, and you drive through the Avenue of Baobabs. It's just spectacular, but if you're willing to go on the dirt road another 5 or 6 kilometers, you come to what is called the Baobabs in Love, which are 2 trees that have intertwined themselves in a spiral. And right there, there are several people carving these replicas of these and have them for sale. And I actually watched a woman whose husband carved this small baobab tree. I watched her polish and stain it and bought it from her right there on the site. So just pull that apart and take it out, Trip. Just pull it apart.
Oh.
Can you see why I thought it was frog legs?
No, turn it the other way. Yes, there. It's the Baobabs in Love, and I watched it being finished right there at the location where the 2 trees grow. The bicycles are actually made of recycled products, and they're made at a little artisan workshop in Ansaribe, which is where we kind of headquartered while we were traveling. The rims of the tires are made of Coca-Cola cans cut into strips and pierced and bent. The spokes are fishing line. The tires are pieces of tubing, like from an IV medical tubing, and they're put together by a worker, so it's all handmade, hand-painted, made out of recycled products, and it's just a way of somebody else making some money. But I was fascinated by watching him make this at this little shop. So I brought 2 of those back, and I think we ought to have a starting bid of at least $10, John, if not more.
So bicycle number 1, what do we have? Whoa. What was yours? Karen, I couldn't hear you. 20? 30 for Mark? This is bicycle number 1.
I'll go to 40 because John has progressed from used coasters to this. This is progress.
All right, so 40 from Byron?
I'll do 50 for either one.
50 for bicycle number 1. Do we have 60? And keep in mind we're going to have bicycle number 2.
He said either one. So you get whatever one you want and you'll get those.
Okay, so what do we have for bicycle number 2? We have 50 for number 2, or we got 50 for Mark?
John,
do you have any
can I
other?
play my bid?
Yes.
You know that one of the prompts of joining Rotary was my brother-in-law, who was Wrangler, who served as president of that club. My brother-in-law died this fall. This is a gift. He was a lifelong. He's ridden from the Pacific to the Atlantic, from Canada to Mexico. Lifelong bicycle enthusiast, and I'm going to give this.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, so the bicycles go for $50 each, so we're now up to $43.20, and we haven't even...
The baobab tree.
So is somebody going to take, okay, so bicycle.
So Mark had a 50 bid, and David had a 50 bid. Pardon? Wait, whoa. Too many people are talking. Mark had a $50 bid. David had a $50 bid. Are there bids higher than 50 for either of the bicycles? So we're done.
Just want you all to remember it took, thank you, David and Mark. It took 2 13-hour flights, a 2.5-hour flight, 2 6-hour layovers to get there, and I watched these things being made by the people. So the baobab tree, the baobabs in love.
So do we have an opening bid for the baobab?
Where is it? Where's the tree?
The baobab?
We need to...
Baobab / frog legs. 20 from Catherine. Do we have 25? 30 from Roxy. We have 35.
It's rosewood.
It's rosewood.
But it's legally brought into the country.
Okay.
John's gone. I mean, Dave Walter's
Right.
gone, but it was legal.
So 30 going once, 30 going twice. Sold to Roxy. So we're up to 43.50. Now here's the exciting one. Last year, Sheriff Dave offered up a ride-along with one of his patrol officers, or tour of the jail, breakfast at the jail, so on and so forth. So he has graciously, we weren't able to get information from him whether he could do it this year until this morning. So what I'm going to do, several people who expressed an interest in that aren't here today, so I'm going to put that out today as an email bid. So you're going to have the opportunity to either do a 4 or 5 hour ride along with one of the sheriff's deputies or take a tour of the jail. Right. So it'll be whichever one you want. It's an either or, your choice.
Last year it was 2 of them.
The ride along, I think he can take 2. The jail tour, I think he can do 4.
Yeah, because the ride along last year, 2 of the millennials bought that.
Right.
I can promise you that the ride along is so personal experience, so much different than being there by force.
So I'll tell you kind of a funny story about ride-alongs. My dad was very well connected with the organized crime strike force in Colorado back when I was in high school. He knew a lot of police officers at the different departments, and I did quite a few ride-alongs as a high school student. And a person I rode along with several times was Pat Sullivan, who was a family friend, and this is when he was with Littleton PD and before he went rogue. And he also, my mother has only received 1 traffic ticket in her life, and it was by Pat Sullivan, also the family friend. So kind of interesting sidebar.
Could I say something? My son is a Denver cop, and every year I ride on December 31st. So if you really want a wonderful experience, go on the 31st.
He didn't necessarily offer the 31st. just saying. Okay, so on with the program. We've got a lot to get through still. So let's talk a little bit about the club. Really, this is a growing, vibrant, and dynamic club, but we have had a couple of challenges this year. Our fundraising took a hit, and that was we lost the Celtic Harvest Fest, and then our beer sales events for the city. We just got slammed with kind of crappy weather on most of the events, so that did affect us. So we're a little bit behind where we would normally be on fundraising, but we have a fundraising committee working hard trying to figure out new ways to make up the gap and also boost the level up. Now, one of the things that I thought about, as our club grows, we want to do very impactful service projects. So I think a shoot for the moon number is for every member of the club, we raise $1,000. Think of what we could do. We're pushing 70 members of the clubs with 70 grand to spend per year rather than we've been kind of in the 40s, 50s range. So put your thinking caps on and see if that's a realistic goal. Maybe I'm shooting for the moon, maybe it's too much. I think you guys can do it personally, but it'll take effort, quite a bit of effort over and above what we've done. Samantha. That was? Yeah. So Samantha, we're back to the auction real quick, brought a travel gift that got left in the cabinet, but I think she wants to buy it back. However, so this is a Washington, D.C. matching game. It doesn't show any politicians, so I don't know how realistic it is. But do we have a...
No, it's realistic because there aren't politicians.
Yeah. Oh, there's the cesspool. Okay, all right. So do we have an opening bid on the Washington, D.C. matching game? Roxy. $20 from Roxy. 30 from Mike Ober. 35 from Samantha, buying her own gift card. 40 from Roxy. 45 from Mike Ober.
I bet you want to buy it back.
Yeah. And Mike, you were at 45? I'm sorry, 45. Do we have 50? Roxy's in at 50. She's strong. 50 going once, 50 going twice.
51.
Oh, 51 from Mike Ober.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Might I suggest that you add the saltwater taffy? Because if you wait a year to auction off the saltwater taffy, that will break teeth. So if you add the saltwater taffy to this, you'll get more than $51.
But if we break enough teeth, maybe Paul Horiuchi will want to come out of retirement, pick up a little extra business. So yeah, let's add the saltwater taffy. So for a 51 without the saltwater taffy, where are we at with the saltwater taffy?
Yeah.
Oh! Now we've got the pure Maine maple syrup, which will be fresh. We're already going. Doesn't matter. Let's do this as a package. We got to get going. Okay, how 60. Do we have 70 for the package? Come on, Roxy, you can do it. You can do it. Come on. Come to Papa. 65 from Roxy. 65 going once. 70 from Mike Ober. Do we have 75? 80 from Ow. All right. 80 going once. 80 going twice. Sold for $80. Roxy, great job. You guys are awesome. Can you deliver that to Roxy? Yeah. Okay, back to where we were. So anyway, we've got to work on fundraising the next year. Membership, interestingly enough, on paper has a little bit of a challenge. We had great growth within the main club, but we also have 2 satellite clubs. Our millennials, and they are showing some positive growth. Unfortunately, our Allosource satellite threw in the towel. They just decided they could not get enough representation to adequately run a club. There is a chance that a couple of their members will transition to the main club. Well, we haven't seen them in the door yet, so. Okay, well. All right. Okay, that's what matters. All right, so 2 of their members, hopefully we'll see 2 of the members from the Allosource Club. Our growth has really been organic, mostly people bringing friends in, but we've had a couple of really successful events. We had the Bring a Friend to Rotary event, which was outstanding. We generated a lot of new membership. And then we've got members from our first business mixer that we did. So Tim did a great job on that. So I think we need to look at more of the business mixer type of thing. I thought that was a great event, Tim. You did an outstanding job on that. But I think our membership, every time I turn around, we've got a new membership application. Looking back, I don't think we've had a member join in November for any year that I saw, and we've got membership applications from a couple people from November that we're going to be voting on tomorrow. So we're doing an outstanding job bringing in friends, relatives, families. So membership, I think, is outstanding. Tripp, you've done a great job. Is he still here, or did he bail out? And then Samantha, we're counting on you to follow in his footsteps. Let's talk a little bit about the Manzanillo trip. All right. Mr. Eunice. Mr. Eunice, would you present your nominees?
I would be happy to. On your tables, I did leave a list. I hope you guys had a chance to look at it. I'm just going to go quickly from the bottom up. Just in case you don't know, we had 2 at-large seats on our board of directors. We are required to have 11 seats. So rather than make them at-large, I'd like to have one member as fundraising, and that would be Trip Butler. As John said, I think that we need to set some loftier goals. We need to start thinking out of the box. And I would second the fact that I'd like to see $60,000 to $70,000 raised next year. It's not going to be in the current configuration. We're going to have to come up with some other ideas. So having a board member just concentrating on that, I think is going to bring the visibility that it needs. The second is, while we do a lot of great things in the community, nobody knows what we do. So I'd like to have a board seat for communications and marketing, and I would like Jessica Seidner to take care of that. Jessica has a great marketing staff. She's agreed to do it. I know she has some challenges getting here sometimes, but she's very, very active on the side. Technology, John Peterson's agreed to sit on that seat again, and we welcome him, and we welcome his knowledge and his enthusiasm for the job. Membership, Samantha Rowe. I think that she can do a great job and keep the momentum that we have going this year. The satellite group, I haven't gotten a name from them yet. So we just have to really kind of be satisfied with whoever they choose, because it is their choice. Sergeant at Arms, Alan Jackson. I think it's a good way for Alan to really get involved in the club and see what goes on at the board level. And I'm expecting some big things out of him. Treasurer, Barb Medina, has agreed to do it yet again. Thank you so much. Secretary, Karen Berry, has agreed to do it yet again. Thank you so much, Karen. And probably the key in here, President-elect, I want Samantha Samurai Johnson to be our President-elect. She has been a go-getter since she joined. She's going to finish the Rotary Institute in January. I think that she's got the drive and the imagination to carry us further. Then John Berry, I had no choice on that one. I'm sorry. And then myself, I have no choice on that one anymore either. So that is my proposal for the Board of Directors.
Move approval.
Yeah, I think that's a great board. I'd like to make a motion to approve the slate.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Let's do the blue marble drawing real quick and get out of here. I can go ahead and draw since I didn't buy a ticket, so.
We're at just about $500 and change, so.
934.
934.
Phil.
Yeah, you know, pay anything.
Can y'all rise and join me in the four-way test? Truth. Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Do good, have fun. If anybody wants to talk about Manzanillo, come see me.